Hey love, my name is Magda K and welcome to my channel.
Most men last between 5 to 10 minutes in bed. That's from the moment you go inside her to when you finish. So if most men last only that long, then maybe it's actually normal. Maybe that's just how men are actually designed. Think about it. In nature, animals don't have time to have sex for half an hour. Animals need to survive. Nature needs to procreate, so it designed males to come fast because it's required by nature. Because a predator could eat you, right? We are still animals. So maybe the fact that you come within a few minutes is actually normal. My name is Magda K, and I am your sex and relationship coach. I post a new video here every Thursday to help you improve your intimate life. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. The reason why I share this is that I see men carry so much shame around how long they last. And shame isn't going to help anything. It only makes you feel worse about yourself. So I want you to understand that most likely, the reason why you come within a few minutes is not that you're broken. It's because nature has designed you to. Now, the reality for humans is, of course, that we don't just have sex to have kids. We have sex for pleasure. We have sex for orgasm. We have sex to release stress. We have sex to connect. And you have sex to give your woman pleasure. The reality is that most women need a minimum of 30 minutes of overall play, including foreplay. And for a woman to be able to have vaginal orgasm, she may need to be penetrated for 40 minutes or more. So, if a man cannot last that long, that leaves a woman unsatisfied. And when a woman is unsatisfied, she stops craving sex. This is when, after 10 or 20 years of marriage, you suddenly find yourself practically stuck in a sexless marriage. So, what can you do, considering that nature designed you like this? But we as humans have different needs. I want to share with you 3 practical tips. These come from all my tantric training, from my friends who have mastered the art of non-ejaculation, and from my lovers who are able to last easily an hour or more. Here is what they say and what I have personally experienced. Number 1, the moment you enter her the first time is the most difficult. This is when the urge to come is the strongest. So here are a few tips that you can do. First, enter her slowly and ask her not to move. You're basically entering her, and then you're trying to relax and breathe deeply. Remember, this is your biggest challenge. If you can overcome that first initial moment, you will be fine. So ask her not to move. You can ask her to just be still and relax, and you go inside her, and you try to stay relaxed yourself. This way, you can manage your arousal and your excitement. Another way is to simply start slow. So you don't go inside her all excited and just start pounding. You go inside her and you first start slow, like actually very slow, right? In and out, that tempo. In and out. You can go in for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, then come out again, 1, 2, 3. At the beginning, this slower tempo is amazing at helping you manage your arousal. Remember, this is the most challenging thing. If you move through that, later it's just so much easier. Tip number 2, you don't go pounding the whole time. For example, you do like 10 to 20 intense strokes, or say 30 seconds, and then you go back to this slow tempo, in and out, in and out. That slow tempo allows you to manage your arousal. You can think of it as a kind of version of edging, only that edging is when you have sex, you thrust, and then you pause and stop. When you stop, you don't do anything, you just allow the energy to drop. Here we have a version of edging, because you don't actually stop having sex. You don't stop thrusting, you simply lower the intensity. You go slow, more gently, but you keep actually moving and you stay inside her. Now, what you may want to know is that for women, this slower tempo is actually good. Because when you alternate these intense pounding moments with moments of being soft, calm, and steady with her, well, first of all, some women actually prefer that type of penetration. But even those who prefer intense penetration, their bodies will actually appreciate these softer moments. When she finally comes, when she finally orgasms, she's going to have a deeper and more intense orgasm. Why? Because edging works for women too. That alternation between intense stimulation and relaxation builds up her energy to deeper orgasms, just like it does for you. I have something extra for you if you want to develop complete control and last as long as you want without constantly having to manage your arousal. I've been guiding men through this process for over 10 years. These techniques strengthen your erection and increase your control over when you come. They combine breath and contractions of certain muscles. You can think of them like a gym for your sex life. If you want to learn them, you'll find a link in the description where I put it all together. Tip number 3, as some men actually prefer to ejaculate at the beginning of sex, and then once they recover and get that erection again, they can keep going for much longer. So again, it comes down to the fact that at the beginning, this is the most intense to manage. If If you can calm yourself down through the beginning of sex and consciously incorporate these moments of relaxation and slower sex, you will be able to last longer. If nature designed you to last just a few minutes, and you just go right away with intensity and continue on high intensity, you will come early, like really early. Look, even the men I mentioned who practice non-ejaculation, meaning they can have sex without ejaculating at all and still experience pleasure, as in they orgasm without ejaculating. These men still have to manage their excitement. It's not that they just go. No. The reason why they can go so long is that they recognize when it gets too intense, and then they slow down. They kind of ride the wave. They manage their excitement. If you want to master this level of control, when you can ride the wave for as long as you want and never worry about finishing too soon, click the link in the description. I'll walk you through the exact practices that give you complete control in the bedroom. If it's your first time visiting this channel and you haven't heard of the School of Intimacy, this is our online platform, our academy that basically helps people increase their competence and confidence in dating, relationships, love, and sex. You have access to the library of incredible courses covering every single aspect of intimate life, and inside the school, there is the Female Sexuality Decoded course. Once you send the payment in the comments, and you will receive instant access to the full course. Please note that this amount will be used to support orphans and poor people, so your contribution makes a real difference. Has Sex Parties, a complete guide for first-timers. Let's talk about sex parties. Hey love! My name is Magda K, and welcome to my channel. I am an intimacy expert, tantra teacher, and a relationships coach. Here I share all the tips, insights, and ideas to help you enjoy the most amazing intimate life. Today, we're going to talk about sex parties. Anytime I bring it up with people, they're always so curious. I even recently had a friend ask me, are they real or is it just like some fantasy? So I thought I'm gonna make a whole video to talk to you about sex parties. And yes, they are totally real. My love, I'm going to share with you different things to help you prepare if you are about to attend your first one, or if you're just curious what it's all about. This is gonna be a beautiful, perfect guide for you. Talk with types of sex parties. I want to start by saying that, of course, there are many different types of these events. Because of how I look at sexuality, the ones that I've attended and organized are Tantric, conscious sex parties. I've been to conscious kink parties as well. By conscious, I mean that people are trained in some way or another in the art of sacred sexuality and Tantra. I mean that there's no alcohol and no drugs, and I mean that boundaries and consent are the #1 priority. Now, you're totally going to have sex parties that do not honor any of these. People are drunk, they take drugs, they just join, they don't ask if it's okay. That happens too. It's not my thing. I would not want to attend one of those events, but they absolutely exist. Ultimately, it's up to you to see and decide which type of space you'd like to be in. This video will mostly focus on those conscious events, but a lot of what I say will apply to the space anyways. Or what you can also do is, no matter how the event is organized, you can still use the tips that I'll be sharing to make this experience the best for you. Paki, what do these parties really look like? Let's look at some logistics. First of all, usually you rent out a beautiful big villa for the event. It's secluded so you can have your full privacy, and you'll have different spaces and different areas. There will be a space where you can just connect with someone and talk. There may be a space for meditation if you get triggered and just want to process something. There will be another space for massage or for cuddles, and there will be a dedicated space for penetration. Usually people try to honor the fact that you will be on a journey, and you may feel super open and very comfortable, but you also may not. So no matter where you are in your experience of the party, you will find a little location, a little space where you can be taken care of. Of course, the mood is set up. The villa is beautifully decorated. You have all the lovely lights and music, and often there are toys provided. There will be some drinks, sometimes some food, so all of us will be there as well. There is a dress code because it's a sex party, so it's really nice if you can dress up in some sexy lingerie or some kinky outfit. It really helps to be in the mood. These parties are usually around 30 people, but of course, there can be less and more. I've attended parties that had even 80 people, but just on average, if you're not really sure what to expect, usually it will be around 30 people, and they do make an effort to keep the number of men and women even. Now, most of these events are paid. What it means is that a single woman will usually pay cheaper, and if you're a single man, your ticket will usually be more expensive. Again, you're going to pay less if you're coming with someone as a couple. I know this may feel unfair, But it's basically to make sure that this party doesn't turn into like 25 horny and excited men and just 5 women, because it is absolutely important to keep those numbers even, or if anything, to have more women than men. Access safety and STI precautions regarding safety and STIs. Some parties actually require you to have proof that you've been tested and that everything is okay before you attend. Others not necessarily, and then you just kind of trust each other. Most of those parties do provide condoms, but I think it's a great idea to have your own, just to make sure you never run out of them, because that can also happen. And again, if you need lube, you can take it. If you have your own toys, you can bring them, although most of these parties will have a lot of toys provided. The screening process, especially if it's your first one, if you're new to that type of space, usually someone will talk to you. They'll ask you questions, they'll try to understand if you will feel good in that space, because ultimately, those parties are created by the participants. Every party I've been to has been very, very different because of the people. So it's really important that the majority of people in the space are people with experience in sex parties, and also who feel very comfortable. Because if you have like 30 people who have never done this before and everyone is shy, it's going to be really difficult to get it started. Again, organizers try to balance this. Have a few newbies, but also have a lot of experienced tantric people so they can kind of lead and guide the energy. So yes, most likely they will talk to you. They'll ask you some questions. They'll explain the rules. They'll try to feel into you if it's going to be a good match. If it ever happens that they tell you later that they don't think it's a good idea for you to attend, ask them why they think that, and they may actually give you really good feedback on what you may focus on. Just to give you an example, there was this one party that I was organizing, and this couple came to us wanting to attend because they've been going through a lot of issues in their relationship, hoping that that experience of a sex party would be something that brings them together. We actually spoke to that couple, explaining that spaces like this can be extremely triggering, and in fact, instead of bringing them closer together, they can just explode even more. So this was not recommended for this couple. We spoke to them, we explained why, and they went through the work to come closer together. When they healed some of their issues and wounds, then a few months later, they attended a party and had a great time. The structure of conscious events. Lastly, if it is a conscious event, it's really considered to be an event, so we have a container to really want to take care of. That means that there is an opening circle, a certain ceremony, and a workshop part, which I'll speak to you about in a moment, and then there's closing. Honestly, even if you don't really work with energies and you're not into Tantra, you will feel the difference if there are people just coming in and out throughout the night. So the general rule is that everyone needs to arrive by a certain time, and once the space is open, you cannot enter anymore. Now, no one is going to force you to stay until the end. If you want to leave earlier, you can. But again, it is recommended to stay until the end. There's a beautiful closing ceremony, a sharing circle. So, if anything came up for you, any triggers, you'll have space to actually share this and process that. Kaku, the workshop introduction, like I mentioned, those parties start sort of like a workshop part. This is the practical part where all the participants are taken through different techniques, exercises, and games to help break the ice. Because you can be really experienced with sex parties, and still when you land in a villa with everyone else, it can get awkward. I've been to a party. In fact, my very first sex party was like this, and everyone was sitting around just like, so what to do now? So it's really helpful when there is this kind of workshop introduction. What we do in this time is you get to know people, speak to them, kind of tune into them. If you like someone, ask them questions. You get to express what it is that you really hope to experience during this night, and what maybe triggers you, what may be some things that make you feel uncomfortable. It really helps to just voice it out and share with other people. You'll discover you're not the only one who feels nervous. Then you're going to do a lot of practices to bring playfulness into the space, to start touching each other, to break this barrier of touch so that later connection is more easy and more natural. You will be going through practices around asking for consent and expressing your yes, your no, expressing your boundaries. That is really, really important. So there will be a big chunk of that introduction for you to learn specific techniques to ask for consent, and also to say yes or no yourself. And then lastly, how to receive and know, because we also need to work on being able to welcome someone's boundary without feeling triggered or offended. That is a huge part of those parties, and you are guided through this at the beginning. Once you go through all of this, then it's free flow. You get to do whatever you want in the space. Okay, do you have to have sex? Now, that can feel scary. So now is the time when you're meant to approach someone, and you should probably have sex. Let's talk about it. The most important thing that people assume is that sex parties are all about sex, and in fact, that maybe you're expected to have sex. That if you're not having sex with anyone, maybe someone will come up to you and tell you, hey, what are you doing? Go and have sex with someone. So, absolutely, there is no pressure nor expectation for you to engage sexually with anyone in that space. A sex party is a place where you can have sex with other people. You do not have to. I've been to parties where, for about 40 people, one couple had penetration. I've been in spaces where, for 80 people, half the people piled up in this beautiful space in the living room, having sex and moaning and screaming. Both were beautiful. You get to choose how you want to experience your sex body. You may choose just to kind of hang out with someone, maybe have little conversations, even though in this space it's not fully encouraged to go into deep conversations. So it can be something more quiet and gentle. You can also just be with someone and enjoy touch, just giving each other massages, playing with the hair, feeding each other fruit. Absolutely okay. You can be open for touching, you can be open for kissing, or you may go into energy sex, but you may choose not to go to penetration. It's absolutely okay. Remember, you are not expected to have sex. How to approach someone now. Also, what I want to speak about is how do you approach someone when you don't want to have sex, or if you want to engage with someone. This is, of course, going to be more difficult for men because it's a bit expected that a man will be approaching a woman, and also because for women, if we ever feel uncomfortable, it's so easy just to kind of come close to another woman and play together, just laugh together, be sensual together. But for a man, this may feel a bit more awkward. So oftentimes people think, oh my God, how do I come to this person and say that I like them and that I would like to connect? A really good strategy for approaching people is forget for a moment what it is that you want from them and instead ask them if there's anything you could do for them. For example, you could come up to a woman or a man and just ask them, you're so beautiful. Could I give you a massage? Or you can suggest that you would love to feed them some fruit, and you can start your connection like this. Then see if the person opens up to go even more and even deeper with you. And if they don't, you still had a lovely intimate space with someone. Honoring boundaries and consent, another thing. And I mentioned this, but this is probably the most important aspect of these conscious sex parties, is honoring each other's boundaries. This is like the most important rule. When you attend those parties, always ask for consent. If there's someone you like, you can approach them and you ask them if they're open to connect with you. You don't ever just come and start touching someone. That's a huge no. Now, if you see a group of people engaging, it may be easy to assume, oh yeah, it's okay, gangbang, let's just jump in. Again, it's a no. Even if it's 10 people there, even if you see other people joining, don't you always want to ask for consent? So you can come closer to the group, kind of look at someone, maybe get eye contact with one person and ask them, is it okay if I join? And only then join. Even looking, even when you look at someone, you're actually stealing their energy, you're crossing their boundaries. So also ask for consent for that. If there is a couple, for example, having sex, if they're like in the middle of the room, then they want to be looked at. But if they're in a room or in a corner, they want some privacy. So in this case, do check in if it's okay. If you don't know how to check in, then just move on and find another sweet thing to do in this event. And another cute thing around wanting to watch someone. I've heard about this, it happened to my friend, and it's honestly so sexy. If you find someone that you fancy, you can come up to them and just say, I find you very attractive. Is it okay if I look at you throughout the event? That's so beautiful. You may get a yes, you may get a no, but just asking for that, like expressing how you feel about them, that you find them attractive, and you're not really trying to get from them too much. You're just asking if you can look. Trust me, things like this can add so much juiciness to this experience. Often, people think that asking for consent kills the moment. But if you know how to do it, if you really feel the energy, you can spice things up. Quite be dealing with nervousness now. Another thing I want to touch on is that if it's your first party, or even the second, or the third, or even the 20th, you will probably feel nervous. And darling, yeah, that's normal. These are pretty scary events. It's way outside of our comfort zone to go to a sex party. So, what can you do about this? What can you do to ease this whole entry into the world of sex parties? Well, first of all, just remember it's a scary thing. Like anything else that's outside of your comfort zone, it doesn't feel all that easy in your body. So just understanding, hey, I'm doing something really scary and I'm deciding to do it no matter what, that will be already helpful. For me, the very first sex party, I was nervous. I was thinking, maybe I will not go. I was trying to find some excuse. But then I would tell myself, Magda, think of it as market research. Like, you have to know what happens in sex parties because that's what you teach. Literally, that's part of your work. So I was repeating that story in my head, and that helped me actually decide, okay, I'm showing up, I'm going. So remember, you're gonna have an amazing experience, or at least a great story to tell. Hey, practical tips for your first party now on a more practical level. Was go with someone. This can be your partner, this can be your lover, this also can be your friend, even though you will not be engaging intimately with them. Having someone there you know just helps, knowing that if anything happens, you have their support. You can even set up a safe word or a certain gesture, a symbol that if you show it to each other, that means, okay, I really need support, please come and be with me. Dress up, like I said before, this is actually interesting in a few ways. First of all, it is a party, and when you dress up, when you're part of the flow, you really feel more playful. Like you're not an observer, which can happen in these spaces if you feel kind of like you don't belong. Through dressing up, you feel more like you are part of the whole experience. Secondly, actually having these sexy clothes, being half naked, makes it more available for people to approach you. Think about it when you normally have sex with someone, there is this moment of having to undress your partner. That's extra work. If you're in a sex party and someone wears normal clothes, it's like a sign to other people that I'm not really ready to engage. This especially works for men because men find it a bit more difficult to find cute, sexy outfits. But I can tell you from experience that for me, if I see a man who is dressed in normal clothes versus a man who's, for example, just in boxers, I feel like I'm more welcomed by the second one. It feels like he has already opened his energy. So again, if you dress up, it will also help with this nervousness, and it will help you throughout the party. Say erection concerns, yes, and the last thing, and that's for men, it may absolutely happen that you will not be able to get an erection during the party. And once again, it's so okay and so normal. Most of the men that I know of who do go to sex parties had this experience for the first party, and sometimes again in the future. Like, it is a lot of pressure. What are you expecting? Just like for me as a woman, it may be hard to get wet just like this with a stranger. Don't expect from your body to do something crazy that normally it wouldn't feel comfortable doing. So, if you go to the party and you would like to engage but simply he's not on board, don't feel bad. Just enjoy all of the other ways of connection. Weigh the desires, fears, and boundaries practice. The last thing I want to share with you about preparing for those parties is to do a little practice called desires, fears, and boundaries. It is how it sounds. You share about what it is that you really want to experience at this party, what scares you about attending, and what your boundaries are. If you're going with your partner to that party, you want to do it together, super important. Like I mentioned, these events can be very triggering. You want this event to bring you guys closer together, explore more fun, not to get triggered, and then feel really scared about the future of your relationship. So, you share with your partner what you would love to experience, what scares you, and what your boundaries are. Both of you share this. If you're going with a friend, also do this sharing, even though you're not planning on interacting. It's really good to know where both of you are. And also, if you're going as a single person because your partner stays home, you do want to do this practice with your partner at home so that they can feel safe and confident about you attending. Which, by the way, already gives you an insight that if you're with a partner and they're not into it, you can totally go by yourself. Just make sure you discuss this with your partner before so they know that you're not going to cross the line. If you are single and going as single just to have fun, do this exercise with yourself. Again, sharing what it is that you would love to experience at this night, what you are scared of, and then what your boundaries are. Okay, final thoughts, my love. These are all of my tips and insights about sex parties. I really hope that you get to experience your first one and maybe way more to come. They are honestly lots of fun, really beautiful. They really help you normalize sex. Being around people who are having sex next to you, being in this energy, that experience is honestly beautiful and healing. Remember, absolutely honor your boundaries. You don't have to engage with anyone. You can spend the whole evening by yourself, just being in the energy and in the space. That's totally fine. I've done this. You get to choose what your experience is. But in any case, it will be really adding so much value, depth, and experience to your intimate life. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I would love to hear from you. So make sure to comment below, have you attended a sex party? Would you like to attend a sex party? And if you do, what are your desires for the party? What are your fears and what are your boundaries? I'd love to hear from you. Darling, if you did like this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel if you would like more videos like this. I love seeing your comments and your likes. It's a beautiful way to connect. 4 things men say in bed that women really dislike. Hey, love, welcome. So today, I want to share with you 4 things that men very often say in the bedroom that women really dislike. I am speaking from my experience. I've heard all of those things, but I'm also speaking on behalf of my girlfriends. Because yes, women talk, we exchange opinions and our experiences. So I know I am not the only one who has heard these sayings. Many of us have. And I yet have to meet a woman who actually likes hearing that. My love, my name is Magda K. I am an intimacy coach and the founder of the School of Intimacy. Welcome to my channel. This is the best place for you to get all the tips, insights, and techniques to enjoy the most fulfilling and exciting intimate life. So, let's talk about these 4 things that women really dislike when you say them in the bedroom. Are you ready? Coffee 1. Did you come? So, what's wrong with this question? You have to understand that a lot of women don't have orgasms. A lot of them struggle to orgasm, maybe never had an orgasm. And even those who don't have orgasms every single time. It's quite embarrassing for us, okay? The way that society is constructed around sexuality, women feel very vulnerable and insecure if they don't come. So, when you just come at them with a direct question, a yes or no question, you're putting them on the spot. If she did come, no problem. But if she didn't, she's literally feeling like a kid at school where the teacher says, did you do your homework? As in, if the answer isn't yes, if it's no. So if you're asking her, did you come? And she didn't, she will literally feel like, no, I didn't. Or she will lie to you. She'll tell you she did, just because she feels too embarrassed to say no. These kinds of questions, yes or no, they're actually very pushy and can be very intimidating. It's great that you're asking her that you want feedback. But what's a better question in this case? An open question, simply asking her, what did you like? You like it? But what did you like the most? It gives her space to express about her experience. And if she had an orgasm, she will tell you, she will say, oh my God, when you did that, that was amazing. And that's when I came and I loved it. You'll get the feedback, you will know what she likes. But again, putting her on the spot actually adds pressure. We have to understand that women, when they don't come, it is because of the pressure. They cannot relax, they cannot get out of their head and into the body. And asking a question like that adds to the pressure. Again, if she feels too embarrassed to say that she didn't, and she lies to you, then it actually sets her up for a whole different pattern with you. Because it's naturalized once, and she will lie in the future, because then it's going to be more difficult for her to be honest with you. So again, don't ever say directly, did you come? If anything, ask her, what did you like the most? Fanfitu, did you like it? So the second thing we really dislike is when you say, did you like it? Did you like it? Why? Because what can she say? She doesn't have a lot of choice. If you ask it like this during sex, and she says, oh, I actually don't really like it, could you change it? She knows she can hurt you. She knows she can kill the mood. So likely, she will not answer honestly. She'll just say, yes, I like it, because she knows that that's what you want to hear, that this is why you're asking the question. And to be honest, that probably is what you're asking the question. You're not asking because you actually want feedback. Now, the thing is, if she is enjoying it, great. But if she isn't, what she's getting from this situation is that she doesn't get to express something honestly because your pleasure is more important than hers. That feels actually manipulative to a woman, and it makes her shut down. Now, if you like this kind of conversation during sex, what you can do is, outside of the bedroom, tell her, it really turns me on if you could say how much you like it and that you want me to give it harder to you, or anything else that you really enjoy to hear. So, say what you would like to hear, ask her, and then she can do it during sex. But you don't have to put her on the spot and make her feel uncomfortable. This is very similar to the previous one, did you come? It's how you say it that makes a woman feel like she doesn't have a choice to answer honestly, and it kind of creates the pattern of her having to lie for your sake. Does that make sense? Ravi 3, you're not wet, and here is the third one, and it's when you say, you're not wet. Look, I want you to imagine the situation the other way around. You're with a woman and you're just not getting an erection. You can't get it fully hard. How would you feel if she just said, wow, you're not hard? It's not nice and it doesn't help? This is physiology. It doesn't necessarily depend on our conscious mind. It's not like a choice. I want to be wet. I want to be hard. We have to work with our body. So something may be happening in her life that makes it more difficult for her to get wet. Maybe it's a certain phase of her cycle, because that happens when she doesn't produce natural lubrication in the same quantity. So sometimes if you say it to her, it's really inconsiderate. She may struggle to relax. Also, please keep in mind that it's kind of your job to get her wet. Like, what do you do if you want to get hard because you want to have sex with your partner? You want her to touch you. You want her to go down on you, right? It's like you want her to stimulate you so you can get hard. It's exactly the same the other way around. If you want her to be wet, then make sure you're turning her on so she does get wet. If she isn't wet, it simply means her body needs more foreplay. She needs more kissing. Touch her, go down on her. Do what her body needs to feel relaxed. I don't have time for this. And the last one, please do not ever say this. And it's, I don't have time for this. I actually heard this from one of my previous partners. So I was explaining that I really love sensual and intimate sex. Now, we had great sex and we did lots and lots of things, but I was missing this more sensual and tantric approach. So I asked him if we could do a longer session, like about an hour long, and I would love to receive a massage and just make love in a more gentle way. His response was, "Who has time for that?" Literally. So yeah, I understand that maybe you don't always have an hour for that. But I want you to understand how it feels for a woman to hear that. Our body needs more time. Like, we will never get fully aroused and fully ready for sex in 15 minutes. Sometimes a woman's body literally needs half an hour of foreplay, or maybe half an hour of a massage, and then 15 minutes of kissing her and going down on her before she's ready for penetration. And then you can have the most beautiful intercourse, and afterwards she still is very aroused. A woman needs afterplay, right? Because her energy is still activated. For her, it's not over. Actually, the curve of pleasure for women is much longer than for a man. So if you say, "Oh, I don't have time for this," basically what you're doing is gaslighting her. You're discrediting her needs. Try to take it to yourself in another situation. Think of something else in your life where you need time. I don't know, maybe you're learning programming or some new skills. You're working on a project and you need time to finish this. And in return you hear, "Oh, I don't have time for that." Like, that just doesn't feel nice. Understand that when it comes to sex, taking things slow is actually a need for a woman. It's not being capricious or being a princess and all about me. This is literally how a female body works. So, don't ever say you don't have time for this. In fact, please make an effort to find that time. Quite what to do instead. So these are the 4 things that honestly, please stop using. I gave you some examples of how to rephrase it that really will work better for her. Like I said, these things, even if they work for you, they really shut a woman down. Now you know what not to do, but the next step, of course, is what to do. You already know how to move from giving her experiences that are pleasant to being a good lover. But then, how do you step into being a great lover? What do women really want to hear? What do they want to experience to have the best time with you ever? I have a special course for men called As Female Sexuality Decoded, and I go into detail of what it is that women need inside the bedroom and outside of the bedroom to really feel mad sexually by you. Because again, for a woman, foreplay starts way before you get into the bed. So I'm telling you everything that we need. For example, one of the things that you will learn about is 11 different types of female orgasm. Did you also know that there is such a thing as female erection? So I'm describing all of it. I'm explaining what it is, what it means. You're getting the sex education that no one really got, and we should have. As a woman, I can tell you, we want men to know it, but most women feel too embarrassed to talk about sex in such detail. And also, a lot of women don't actually know this about themselves because they have not received the right education. Many women do not know their own sexual anatomy. So if you ask them, "Where is your G-spot?" she will not even know. This is why I created this training. Because you, as a man, should know these things. If you want to have the best intimate relationship with your woman, these are essentials to be able to offer her that experience and really become a great lover. So, if this is something that you are interested in, if you would like to learn more about what it is that women really want, what they do not want, and what they really desire, then A Female Sexuality Decoded is available inside the School of Intimacy. If it's your first time visiting this channel and you haven't heard of the School of Intimacy, this is our online platform, our academy that basically helps people increase their competence and confidence in dating, relationships, love, and sex. You have access to the library of incredible courses covering every single aspect of intimate life. And inside the school, there is the Female Sexuality Decoded course. How to get this course? Simply send 50 UI via setup to 923-8668-8939. Once you send the payment, type Omen in the comments, and you will receive instant access to the full course. Please note that this amount will be used to support orphans and poor people, so your contribution makes a real difference. Sasa, my love, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you would like more videos like this. I would also love to connect with you over Instagram. I post something every day. You get a very personal insight into my life and how I embody all of these teachings. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate it, and I hope to see you next week in the next video. Bye!